Peace. This is a meat and potato social production starring myself, the Warrior Alchemist, and today's topic for the occult family is either get down or lay down. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, if many of you are concerned, look no further than the World Economic Forum, which is headed by Klaus Schwab. And basically 2 years ago, he and his fellow compatriots pretty much put this forth. You will own nothing and be happy. This also was spoken of in a Forbes magazine piece, which said, I don't own anything and I'm happier than ever. The goal is by 2030, everything you get, services or products, they both are interrelated. So that means job, they may give you. Food, they'll give you. House, they'll give you. Because here's the cruel irony and the truth of it. Yes, Trox, I know you love participating in the Crash Dummy Olympics, but know this. If you don't own a house by now, you're never going to own one. Facts. I know you don't want to hear that, but look at it. You have people that are habitual renters. No one is getting houses like they used to. Houses, look at Florida. Many people are losing their houses because they can't afford the mortgages. And I know there are some people that say, well, my mother or my father left me a house. How do you usually lose that house? Property taxes. Look outside, Trox. How many homeowners are in your vicinity or on your block? That's something to think about. And more people look at homelessness. Not only is it through the roof, and people may say, well, that's because of the African American and the blacks. Okay. Take a look at Denver, Colorado. Take a look at Portland. Portland is a disaster. Look at Chicago. They just closed 4 Walmarts. Why? Because consumers were stealing. Think about that. Let that sit in. Amazon has lost over $2 billion. They haven't lost that much money since 2014, and they're about to lay off 9,000 employees. And there's another danger on an occult level, and I know people aren't going to believe this, but I'm going to say it anyway. This is going to lead to people eating one another, cannibalism, and people will be like, no, we would never do that. Oh, really? Read the Black Book of Communism by Richard Pipes. Lenin had starved his people because he wanted to drive out spirituality. And what did the people do? They started feeding on one another. And there's also an occult punishment for it. Amongst the indigenous people of the Americas, there's a spirit called the Wendigo. So the God's punishment, if you fed amongst your fellow man, they would turn you into a beast. That's one goal was to feed. It even was spoken about in the Incredible Hulk comic book in the 70s. So people are going to be feeding on one another. Those that do survive, you're going to have to be compliant. The fundamental danger about that is whatever someone gives you, they can take away. I've seen it. And Lenin died in occult death. His eyes were wide open. His skin had turned coal black all over his body, and he was in a wheelchair. Lenin met his fate in 1924. Butchered and killed 24 million. His replacement, Stalin, who came after him, he doubled that. Mao killed over 50 million in China. The government's goal is for you to be subservient and be a child. Independence is a myth. They can't have that. So I don't want to hear nothing about, oh, the recession's coming. No, the recession's here. It's been here. And it's only going to get worse. You're going to have to get creative with your solutions. And then eventually, what are you going to do? Are you going to get off the grid somehow, some way? Are you going to take your occultism to the next level? What are you going to do? Because basically you are going to be a ward of the state, and your Bible is not going to save you. Neither is your noble Quran. That's not going to save you. Klaus Schwab, who is German, by the way, one of his mentors was, or should I say is, Henry Kissinger, the Secretary of State when Nixon was president. And you have to pay at least $23,000 just to get in the door. And that's just to be an ordinary member. And the World Economic Forum, if you go on their website, they're telling you what they're going to do. Because their thing is, what are you going to do? You going to pray it away? No, it's nothing you can do. That's why this is an occult battle. Your religion ain't going to save you. You voting, that ain't going to save you. None of that is going to save you. Everything is changing. Even during the Great Depression in the 20s, 40% of people were growing their own food. And even they had problems. Why do you think they're trying to work so vigorously to destroy farming? Farming is entrepreneurship. They don't want entrepreneurship because, see, if you're an independent man or woman, you don't want no one telling you what to do, how to do it, when to do it. Who wants that? So the Great Reset, when everything hits, it's going to be 2030. And sad to say, many of us are going to be here to see it. And then your children and your grandchildren, this is just life, period. Anything that is abnormal will become pervasive and normal very fast. So with that, that is your meat and potato sorcery for the day. I am the Water Alchemist. Be water, my friends. Peace.